Hello, guys. Welcome to Live with Jacqueline Valdez. I'm super excited to be here today. I'm so honored to have today's guest. He is just incredibly talented and a fabulous individual and a good friend. So we are talking today about understanding contortion and also contorture. So extreme flexibility. You're going to recognize him from film stunts, from commercials, from America's Got Talent, and needless I say more, let's welcome Mr. Jonathan Nosan to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for having me. It's so great to be here with all your wonderful, amazing followers, friends, and fellow guests. Thanks.
Yes, I'm super excited. I'm so excited that we were able to get our schedules finally together also, because I know you are so busy.
There's, like Corona, it's just like even busier. So it's just like, we find our ways as the humans that we are. And I mean, you're doing this so beautifully and so incredibly and giving this to the world so well. Baruch Hashem, thank God, thank everything, that we stay busy, that we keep making our ways. And yeah, it's been a crazy year, but a great crazy year, in ways that I think that all of us, could never have imagined or seen, for better and worse. And hopefully it can only be better.
Yes, that's so true. And I feel like so many people that are artists and creative individuals have really found a way to maneuver and pivot through this whole quarantine and even flourish more.
It's totally true. I mean, like, granted, it's been horribly challenging, and it's been like devastating for so many. But I think for so many others, and for many of us who have just lived our lives as artists, that haven't been dependent on maybe a union, that haven't been dependent on, and like, thanks for the unions, thanks for Screen Actors Guild and all that jazz. But for those of us who really are more freelancers and are just like artists, we're always used to these fluxes. We're always used to these ups and downs over the decades. And there's always going to be, like a great, amazing job and years on tour. And then there's going to be those like months and maybe years where there's just like nothing. So I think for a lot of artists, we were sort of somewhat set up for just like the like brain spiritual concept of like suddenly not having work. Well, we always don't have work, it's like, and then we have to make work, it's like, who has work? You don't have work, so you make it, and you make something, and then, and then if you make something that's needed, wanted, and loved, like your show, or like the Contorture program, the training program, that just, and then it grows and goes, so yeah.
Yes, I love that. And I love that you said that we just create work and you just make work happen.
1000%. I mean, one of the things that, and I'll just like vamp, one of the things that I did last year, I live in Tel Aviv now. I moved to Israel. I'm Israeli now, I'm American now. But one of the things that I did last year, I took 8 months just to try it out and to do like a trial run. And one of the things that I did then was The Artist's Way, the book. Have you ever done it, or do you know it?
I do not. Please tell me more.
It's amazing. An ex of mine did it years ago when we were living together, and I would just always look over at him and be like, he's writing again. Oh, he's spending all this time on it. It's like all of that. And it's like the artist's way. It's like rehab for artists, and even for like any human. And it's really an incredible way of reconnecting with your artist, whatever you do, whether you're a doctor as an artist, or a lawyer as an artist, or a contortionist, or a pole dancer. It's like we all, make the art of our livelihood and our living and of our life. It's like to make your life into your art form is living. So I was just gonna, so in the whole realm of creation and creating, it's our duty, and it's one of the things that's brought out in the book, The Artist's Way. Like, I just can't recommend it enough for everybody. And one of the things that is our duty is to create, and we are all creators, and we all, like, whatever our concept of a higher power, of an elevated, of that element of God, whatever we want to define it as, that's the creator, and the creator wants us to be creating. So it's kind of our duty always, to be doing that. And the more we do it, the more things flourish.
Yes, that's so true. The more abundance comes, for sure. So what inspires you to create?
Mm, I mean, the first word that comes to my brain is challenge. You
Okay.
know, just to accept and kind of like seek challenges. That, you know, whether it's just kind of my nature or whether it's, you know, what just needs to be done. You know, it's one of those things that we need to excavate and be explorers. You know, it's kind of like before the internet and before access to everything.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't, there was just like libraries, you had to go look
Yeah.
up books. You know, we had to really like search and really look. You know, it wasn't just putting it in the search bar and getting the answer. You had to really kind of do the work.
Right.
And go into the stacks of the library and ask the librarian and talk to people, you know, and have human interactions. Like, oh God, not
Yeah.
that. So what inspires me to create, I think, is the challenge, and it's gone that way kind of like through my whole life. When I was at university, I studied Japanese. That was my major. You know why? Because it was a challenge. Because it was kind of like weird and out there,
Very cool.
and because I had like no knowledge of it, and then having done it, when I decided to go into performance and circus, and not having had any dance or gymnastic or physical real background, you know, contortion. Like, what else? You know, it's like, of course I'm going to do contortion at 23 and learn to do a forward roll or a cartwheel. It was like impossible. I still can't really do a backwards somersault. You know, like all of these things. You know, so of course it's
Wow.
contortion, and then going into, you know, I do ceramics also as a potter. So of course, like in ceramics, I'm going to do porcelain because it's just like the hardest clay to freaking work with. So so I think what drives me to create it is challenge, finding the challenges, and I think one of the things, and we can, you know, go into that a little bit more. Challenge in finding niche is, you know, always finding the niche, finding what's not there. It's like there's a few people in the world right now climbing a piece of fabric, you know, and God bless them. And it's great. It's a fantastic recreational activity now, but it's like going to be a hard thing to make a living out of. Like
Yeah.
I was the only one in New York in 1999. I was him, and it was a niche that I filled, and then it grew, you know, and then as it grew, I got out of it because of it, you know. But it's always like looking and trying to find that niche. So like challenges and
Wow.
niches, I think, are good things to be on the lookout for in life.
Yeah, definitely.
And then do them.
And do them. Just do them. And I feel like when you challenge yourself, you find different parts of who you are. You tune into your spirit and you just kind of, you know, awaken things too.
1,000%, so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I swear to God, you look younger every time I see you.
I've heard it said.
So I love it. I love the challenging yourself because it does, you know, work different parts of your brain, your spirit, your body, and you find happiness, and you find your passion, and you find what you do like and what you know, want to stay away from, or what you can grow in.
So much, absolutely.
Yeah.
And part of it also is continuing to learn and continuing to listen and continuing to be open to being a student, you know, and not being like, oh, but you know, you
Know
have
it
to
all.
constantly always be open to learning and listening to the right things as well. Just
Yeah.
like touching on that, like youth front.
Yes.
One of the things, you know, that I've started in the last like year and a half, but it's been amazing for my contortion body of 25 years or so, is red light therapy. And that Anna Venizelos, my performing partner and best friend, turned me on to, of infrared and near infrared light therapy.
Wow.
So I use it on my face because it boosts collagen. So it reignites and re-enlivens cells and dying cells and bursts new cells, but also on body parts. Like it's one of the few things that's worked on the arthritis that is that's like big in my knee. I don't have an ACL. I blew it out skiing
Wow.
30 something years ago. And then like shoulder, just it's a really red light therapy. The product we both use is Joovv, Joovv. But it's one of the things that helps a lot. It's like my only supplement now. Like I'm down to that and rhodiola rosea. That's my other secret weapon, which is an adaptogen, which is very important in life. So adaptogens like help you adapt to life.
Okay, we know your secrets now. I'm so excited.
Those are two of my big ones. Yeah.
I'm looking in on your secrets. I love it so much. And it's so crazy that you were saying earlier that you never really had a background in dance or gymnastics or contortion, and you started not at such a young age, because in the industry, being in your 20s is known as being a little bit older, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it shows that if you put your mind to it and you really focus on that spiritual side and, you know, really challenge yourself, that there's so much that you can do that you don't even know that's possible.
Very, very completely. On that front, there's an itch. If there's an itch, scratch it. That's always a good
Yes,
option.
it's live. Do whatever.
Yeah, so I didn't have a physical background, you know, per se. I did juggling and magic as a teenager. That was we moved to San Diego, you know, when I was 12, 13, and juggling and magic became my passion. I performed it all through like middle school and high school. I performed at SeaWorld. I did jobs, things like that. But and then I went on an academic track, and then I saw circus in Tokyo when I was doing research there towards a PhD, and then decided that was, of course, what I needed to do. Part of it, I think, also that allowed me to do it in 1995 and make that decision from, you know, to move to London and start theater school and start circus school at 23-ish. Is that there really wasn't the internet. Like the internet really didn't exist. And YouTube and Instagram, God bless it and all great, wasn't saying that I was too old to do this, or I wasn't seeing that everybody was younger than me that was doing it and starting, you know, so there weren't those, but also, you know, it also gives you know, it has its pluses and minuses 1,000%. But I think that now it can be I get so many messages from people saying, oh, I would love to do Contorture. I'd love to train contortion. I'd love to start, you know, anything, but I'm, you know, I'm 19. I think I'm too old. You know, it's like,
I hear that a lot too.
Right? You know, it's like never ever, you know, you are, you know, that's the only brain.
Yes. Amen.
It's so good to see you. It's been so many years.
I know, it's been so many years. It is so good to see you. Missed you so much.
We'll just have a moment of love fest. It's like,
oh,
okay, back to you.
I love it. This is real. Yes, the last time I saw you.
Con or something, or Pole
something. Yes, or Pole Expo.
I think it was Pole Expo. That was like in Vegas.
Yes, in Vegas. That was years ago. And that's when I was having some back issues and I performed, and you were so loving and giving and took care of my back and helped me perform, and I did beautifully.
Oh, yay.
Yes, lots of love.
So awesome. I don't even know. I guess that's how you do it. I'm really bad at those things. There
you go.
I think that's like the first time in my life that I've done this.
Yay! It's because of me. Lots of love. Care
You're
love.
my first. All right.
Woo! You're making me blush. I love it so much. But yeah, you look so young. You look like you're in your 20s. And it just, you know, the body, it's just amazing what the body can do and how you've trained and how your system and your workshops and your program really works.
Thank you. And kind of, yes, you know, and you know, thankfully, and basically it comes from lineage, you know, it's because I was trained well, and it's because I spent 3 years with Mr. Lu Yi in San Francisco at the school there, and was trained by a master, and was trained methodically and smartly and slowly, you know. And when I showed up for day one, he said, it's going to take 3 years. And I said, okay, you know, here's 3 years, let's go, you know. And it had that. So, you know, it's a testament to lineage, to my teachers, part of it. And then also, as, you know, when I worked with Twyla Tharp on a Broadway show, and one of her things has always been, and always was telling me, you know, Jonathan, you can do this. And at the time, I don't know, she was probably in her early 70s, maybe at the time. You know, she was like, you can keep doing this as long as you want, just don't stop.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you stop, it's over, you know? And that's the key into the name of the game of, and it's hard, you know, it's because like through the years, through the 5 years, through the decades, there's always going to be, it's like a relationship, you know, I talked with Anna, my best friend, about it a lot, you know, it's like you fall in and out of love with it, you know, and sometimes you need to redefine and re-spark the passion. But thankfully over the years, you know, I've kept it alive, and I still love it, and it's still my, you know, still my
True love.
lover, contortion. Yeah.
And I love that you said that. There's going to be ups and downs, because so many people think that it should always be up and it should happen overnight. You know, when can I get my splits? When can I get my straddle? Can I get my back bend with my leg up in just 1 month? This is my goal. I have to have it by New Year's.
Right.
And
completely. And then you see all the programs online that are like 30 days to your split, 15 days to your back bend. Just click here. You know, it's just like,
yeah, it's true.
And it's part of the thing also of Contorture, you know, a lot of people ask as well. It's like, you know, okay, what's the program?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what's my schedule? It's like, what am I supposed to do? And part of the way that I teach and train and coach, and that I was trained and teach and coach, is you become your guy. You become your coach. Like, I'm your guide along the way, but every body is so individual to where they are and what they'll get, that it's impossible. Somebody saying like, okay, do this 3 times a day for 20 minutes and you're going to get X.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like when you meet the Buddha, run, you know that saying?
Yes.
You know, it's like, if someone comes up to you and says, hey, I'm the Buddha, you know, it's like, gone, you know, it's like,
yeah. Yeah, it's true. And I feel like it takes time. You have to really listen to your body. There's days where I wake up and I'm like, I cannot even move. I'm so stiff. And I have to just slowly kind of like work things out. And I have to be happy with that. And we have to just accept where our body is at that present moment.
Definitely, 1000%. In training, you know, and there's always going to be the ups and downs. And the thing of it is, and especially, you know, so I moved to Tel Aviv maybe 4 months ago, and I have a lot of really great new students here. It's been really wonderful, like working with new people, and people experience the same thing that everybody experiences, is that, you know, we don't, and also in the course of training, we forget where we started. Yeah. You know, it's like we were here and it was really hard. And then like after a little bit, we get here, you know, and we forget that we were down there just like a little bit ago, you know, but we want to be up there already. So it's, you know, so it's always this mountain climbing, that it's like there's always going to be the valleys and the peaks and the valleys and the peaks in training and in life too, but especially in training, you know, and we have to allow that some days, months, some years, you know, are just not going to be like, but, you know, it's funny because I was doing a talk with Anna, and really I'm contorting. I'm 51 now. I'll be 52 next month. And you know, I feel almost better in my contortion now than I've ever felt in 25 years. Just because I'm a little bit more at peace with it and good with it. My flexibility and my strength is kind of the same, if not more.
Wow.
You know,
you look 23.
Oh, I love you.
God, you do. It's crazy. You're such an inspiration.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. And it's true, because you feel more at peace. You found your niche, and you found the right way to train your body.
Yeah. And it comes with time. You know, you find it yourself, and then you also, you know, hopefully along the way, find the people who can guide you there too. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's very exciting. And that's very cool. It's good to know that you have to be around good energy and good supportive people, and people that are training you the safe and correct way.
Yeah, it's important and good. And, you know, it's a crazy time now, but thankfully, you know, we do have these portals of online goodness, you know, that we can chime into and make sure that everybody is following Jacqueline and, you know, tuning into all the great guests that she has, and getting the right positivity and the right messages and the right, you know, form of just training and living a good life.
Yes, living a good life. And you also do some interviews too.
Yeah.
So tell me about those. Yeah.
So you mean the
Your
Contorted series?
Instagram, yeah, you do your Instagram lives.
Yeah, they've been really great. It's been really, really nice. So we did that together with Anna Venizelos, super fantastic, best friend forever. And it's been really nice because we found it really important, just the same way, like when I created Contorture
Yeah.
in 2015, like at that time, really there was so little to none, like comprehensive, proper, good, safe online training. Everything was so just like pick it up from a bit of YouTube, pick it up from a bit of there, pick it up from a bit of there, that I really wanted to create this solid 5 video ability to train. So that, thankfully has been like beautifully received, and I'm very thankful for that. And then the other side of it is kind of the other side of contortion, and the other side of being a contortionist, and the other side of being kind of an extreme physical performer, whether it's pole or dance or whatever. How we can keep like mentally, stable and do all the rest of it, behind the body and behind the training. So it was really wonderful for us to come together, just not, like this, and not, talking too much, some tricks,
Yeah.
and some training, but mainly more how to be an artist, what it means to live as an artist, what it means to recover as an artist, what you do when you're out of work, what you do when you're injured, how to get gigs, how to negotiate, how to act on set, all these things that even like in circus school you don't really learn, like how to be a good person on set, like when you're doing a film, when you're doing a shoot,
Yes.
it's like how to be, strong and and not be pushed around, but also how not to be, a bad person. There's so many words that I want to say. They're like,
Go for it.
but
It's
it's
true
really been great. It's been a great series. We'll do more, but it's had and has really, beautiful reception from a lot of very appreciative people around the
Yes,
world.
you have some amazing tips on there. And it's so true. These are important things that a lot of people don't really realize is there's so many elements to being a performer, to being on stage, and to working with others. And then just your mental health is so important, to not be hard on yourself and to not have certain expectations on yourself. And injuries are huge, recovering from injuries mentally, not just physically.
Completely. And it's a whole thing. Like it's a wear and tear is going to happen. If you're a race car driver, you have to take your car into the shop now and then to change a tire. The belt is going to snap. It's what it does. So it's like, if we're going to use our bodies the way we use them, something's going to happen. So I had a shoulder surgery, and I had a, knee, this and that. And then when you're out, it's that whole, like brain conception of, as physical artists, I really there were quite a few times when, like, as a physical artist, when you don't have your physicality for those times, are you still an artist? And how are it's like, yes, you are, but you have to really like grapple with a lot of these things.
Yeah. And it's crazy that we are talking about injuries, and you mentioned your shoulder and your knee. I actually had a couple people messaging me last evening that are fans of yours that were asking questions about if you've had injuries, and how does contortion continue as you get older, and is it going to be damaging to your joints and your body as you get older?
I'll go through, like, I'll just do a quick rundown of what I've got. So I blew out my ACL, my anterior cruciate ligament, in my right knee in 1987. So I don't have that ligament in my knee. So I only have one ligament in my knee. That's why I don't do any tumbling. I don't do any high impact sports. And I just strengthened the muscles around the knee, and really you're okay with one ligament in your knee. I don't have that. I blew out my left tendon on Broadway for Twyla. So on my thumb, I was doing a contortion handstand during the show on Broadway, and it just snapped. So my thumb just went blink and died. So that was just like dead for a bit. Fun fact, we have spare tendons in these fingers. We have 2 tendons and then one and one. So if we need a part, there's a spare part here that they restring. So
Wow.
were put together really smart. So they restrung that. So that put me out for like 6 months or so.
Wow.
Ruptured a bicep tendon. So that's why this bicep looks so like Popeye-ish. That one's a little less Popeye.
I love it.
But they put
Yes.
that back together. And then a meniscus. So I had a meniscus cleanup in my left knee. That's pretty much my rundown. But all of those things, like none of them, I mean, yeah, I was on Broadway and I bummed, so I did handstands forever. So a ligament blew. But none of it was really overly, because I'm a contortionist or because I've done this for, it's because I've pushed my body hard like any athlete. Time wise, honestly, keep doing it, keep smart, don't stop, don't sit for too long. That's the worst. Sitting at a desk or sitting in a chair, the worst. Okay, this is the truth. And then if we're going over that, this is the truth. The worst injury, most painful that I've had is thinking that I needed to go back to Columbia and get a PhD in what I didn't get a PhD in 25 years ago. So I sat at a desk studying for the GRE, learning math again. It was like ridiculous. And having done that and sat for too long, one of the nerves in my right hip got out of line. And it was the most debilitating pain for almost 6 months. That was just before America's Got Talent. And I thought I was going to have to cancel America's Got Talent. I couldn't move. I couldn't walk. And it was from just sitting for too long. So from not doing and sitting, like that was the worst injury, honestly, that I've ever had.
I believe that. So keep moving, guys. Hello, Zamara. Love you too. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, don't sit, move, keep moving, shaking, whatever you need to do. Yeah, so you did America's Got Talent. So let us know a little bit about America's Got Talent.
It was wild. It was really, I mean, I performed for like millions of people at the Miss India pageant in India, live. And that was like nerve wracking, but America's Got Talent was kind of like one of the most nerve wracking things I've ever, because you have no idea. I mean, we all know, like everything is rigged. Okay, we know this. Like, yes. Surprise, reality TV, is it real? Yeah. So everybody's like, okay, buzz him, don't buzz him, buzz him, don't buzz him. Like, that's the way it works.
Yeah.
So you have no idea. And even though they, were scouting me for years and years, and I said no and no. And I had come back from being on tour for a few years with Limbo. And, you come back to New York, you come back to the States or just to like off tour, and you have to like reintroduce yourself to the world and like, hey, I'm back. Somebody hire me, please, again, ever. So I did it, and it was awesome. It was really, really great. Did it lead to like incredible work and jobs and things? Not at all, 0, 0. Wow. And that's fine. What it did lead to is it created like just a really beautiful connection, because I'm Jewish and I'm very proud as a Jew. I'm proud of a lot of things, but one of the things that I'm very proud of is my Jewish heritage and religion and identity. And I did it wearing a kippah, not right now, but I did it wearing a kippah yarmulke. So so clearly I went on like as a Jew, and in my suit, which I normally do. Yeah. And and it was just a beautiful representation. And I think like one of my things also, like one of the reasons why I wear a suit, for of contorting, is challenging people's preconceptions of what it is to be whatever that we are. Look at you and like, oh, she's wearing glasses, she must be smart. Oh, she has a pink thing, so she's a little bit creative or a little bit kooky fun. It's like, oh, he's wearing a black shirt, he must be a goth. Always wearing a suit, he must be a suit and a kippah, he must be a rabbi or something. And then and just like twist their whole like conception of what reality or their possible reality is. That I think is really important for us all to do respectfully, and mutually. So one of the things of America's Got Talent came from it was it really made a beautiful just like mark kind of like on the internet of the Jewish contortionist, and just like gave a representation of other elements of. So
I love that so much. Yeah, because so many people had asked too about your suit and about the glitter outfit too. The mirror outfit.
Yeah, my mirror man.
The mirror man.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had a long relationship, Mirror Man and I. So
I love
been
it so
good.
much. It started a trend.
It did.
It did.
It started a trend and it killed my career. But I kind of knew that it might. I mean, it was kind of like me taking, tissue or fabric or silk or aerial, whatever anyone wants to call it anymore, in New York, and then everybody doing it, and then I did Mirror Man on America's Got Talent, and now, they're being mass produced in China, and then everybody's doing it. So it's like, yeah, time to move on.
Bye-bye, Mir Man. Bye-bye.
Next.
I love it. Was there anything else that you wanted to tell the viewers?
Just, be good. No, just kidding. Have fun. Enjoy, be nice to each other, support each other,
Yeah.
Get off the internet, get on the internet.
Get on to watch us.
People. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Zamara, you have to look. It's a wonderful mirror outfit. He's the one who does it the best.
It is still the original. I'm the original, and thankfully, there's still like good gigs that come along with it. So.
Yeah, that's good. So we can find you on Contorture, right? .com.
Yep,
And
contorture.org.
Okay.
And that's for the download streaming session. Also, just towards the end, I'm doing a 6-session workshop series out of Indaba Yoga in London. Indaba, INDABA yoga.com. And it's really awesome. It's going to be a great 6-session workshop, immersive workshop series from February 7th to mid-April. So it's going to be a real nice, beautiful journey with me through things that I'm kind of known for, of contortion and handstands and inversions and deep back bends, but also it's going to be approaching meditation and brain and mind and how to be an artist on stage and how to find captivation, both for yourself and your art, and how to bring people in, how to enjoy what you're doing, but also how to like really allow them to come into what you're doing too. So it's going to be, and then in that very end, it's going to be a little performance series. So that's happening. And then you can also find me at jonathannosan.com.
Nice, exciting. Yes, and we will have all your information posted once the live goes up on our YouTube page. And those are important points that you said, because it's so important as a performing artist to be able to open up and be vulnerable and let your audience in. There can be a beautiful dancer, but if you're not letting the audience in,
so much,
it's just not the same. It doesn't have the same impact.
Exactly, completely, 1,000%. That, the V word of vulnerability. And that's what I trained and learned for a year. That was the first thing that I learned, in London at theater school, before really diving into circus and contortion, was just how to be, and it took a year, and of course you cry and all of that. You break down to break through. So, but you have to learn to allow yourself to have that vulnerability, and that honesty, and it's not easy, it's a hard thing just in life to find, and then to put it on stage.
Yeah. It's very true. It's very true.
But when you do, that's the distinction of like a really like, a performance that just kind of like,
really touches you.
Yeah.
That really lets you in. And that's one thing that I've always loved, is seeing you live and on videos. You've always just been so open and just really let people feel while they're watching you perform, and just, having those emotions and inspiring moments watching you, because you're so vulnerable.
Thank you. I am.
You're welcome.
I'm single. No, just kidding.
I love it. I love it so much. It's been so much fun talking to you, catching up.
So good seeing you too, and talking with you also, Jack. It was really, really awesome.
Yes, we will have to do this again.
Definitely.
Yes. Was there anyone that you want to do a special shout out to?
I'll just say my parents, because they rock. They're in San Diego, and they kind of like permitted and allowed me to be, be me, just from birthing me, which is amazing, and putting up with me in adolescence, which I certainly wouldn't have, And, their kind of lesson with me was like, go on. When I called them from Japan and I said, hey, I'm not doing my PhD, I'm going to move to London and, study theater and maybe do circus. They were like, if you can support yourself and figure out a way to pay for it, go for it, which is great. It's like, which is the way, so I waited tables and I cleaned toilets and and I did, and for them and for that, and, instilling just an ability to live a creative, adventurous life with my
Oh,
parents.
oh, thank you, parents. They sound so awesome. And you're so blessed to have that love and support. Not a lot of people get that opportunity, especially going into the arts.
That's true. Definitely.
Yeah. So shout out, parents. We love you. I love it so much. What is it that you want to be remembered for?
What I want to be remembered for. It's such a good question. I was thinking, I was just taking a little bike ride before this. I was by the sea and riding, and and I thought about it. It's a very, very, very good question, and really, what came ultimately to mind is not necessarily that a great this, a great that, a great contortionist, a great whatever, but. And it's a part of it's part of like many spiritualities, but in Jewish spirituality and Hasidus, it's a whole concept of lighting, of being lamp lighters. It's our duty as humans to keep a flame progressing and going and going and going. You have a candle and then you take another piece and light another candle, light another candle, and light another candle, and just if the work that I've done in teaching and in workshops and online and offline and just as a human, that there's been like a little bit more light in the world and that it's continued on that way. I think that would be all right.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And you're already shining a light. You're such a beautiful spirit. You're so loving and you're so giving and you are just such a warm, beautiful individual. There's so much love I have for you. Yes.
Oh, thank you. For you too. Thank you for doing this. And I'm so happy that we got it together and connected here.
Yes. I'm so happy too. It has been such a pleasure. I could talk to you all day.
We'll do another. Let's do it again.
Another, yes. Thank you so much for illuminating the world with your presence.
Thank you. You too. It's been a great time. It's been a great time catching up.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, love.
All right.
Lots of love.
You too.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Live with Jacqueline Valdez, illuminating the world one voice at a time. Lots of love, guys. Thank you.